Hi everyone, Mr. Boltri here bringing you video 1.8 where we're going to do a little Unit 1 review. So the purpose of this video is not to reteach any of the topics from Unit 1 because you can still go back and watch all the old videos, but just to kind of give you a big picture overview of some of the most important things that we've learned and some of the things that are going to be most heavily emphasized on the test. So first, we have gotten through our week of many quizzes. This week we are doing the practicum, which hopefully was a good review activity. In our next class, we are doing just straight up review. If you have any questions, you can either ask them in class or post them in the discussion. And then our first class of next week, which is either Monday or Tuesday, depending on if you are C block or E or F block, is going to be the test. So make sure that you are getting all your questions out this week so you can come to next week prepared for the test. Also, just a little update on retakes is we will be doing retake 1B in class if you have submitted your retake request. And then retake 1C is going to be after school next Thursday. So that's kind of what the calendar is going to look like for the end of the unit. So some resources that are available to you to help you begin your studying is there's going to be a one-page recap, which is already posted under week 4, and a test checklist, which is already posted under week 4. We're also probably going to get a review guide up for our review day, lesson 12. And don't forget Retake Central and the Unit 1 homepage. So these are going to be some useful resources for you in terms of your end of the unit studying. So now let's talk about the Unit 1 standards. These are the things that we've learned in Unit 1, and they are going to form the foundation of the test. So 1A has to do with fair tests and some vocabulary around fair tests. 1B has to do with graphing, including lines of best fit. 1C has to do with analyzing graphs, specifically equations and predictions. And then 1 star, which we did not have a quiz on and really was only one lesson, so therefore will not be heavily weighted on the test, but there will be 1 or 2 questions about dimensional analysis and conversion factors. So let's go through the Unit 1 recap page. You will find this Unit 1 recap, which again is not everything that we learned in the units, but it's some of the most important things that we learned in the unit. So we're going to go through it piece by piece just to sort of help you understand what you're looking at and what's going on. So first, with standard 1A, you can see all the fair test vocabulary up at the top. And if you want to practice that or review it, you can go to video 1.1 or video 1.2. But here is just sort of your brief summary of fair test. The most important thing here is that there's 1 independent variable, which is the thing that the scientist changes on purpose, 1 dependent variable, which is the thing that they measure or observe the change in, and then everything else is constant, and that's what makes a fair test. For standard 1B, it's really important that you remember all of the graphing conventions because a lot of people are forgetting 1 or 2, and then that makes it really hard for you to have an accurate graph. Some of the most commonly missed points are the having scaled axes. That's going to probably be the #1 thing where people mess up. So make sure that you are hitting all 7 of these, and in particular have a properly scaled axis. And if you want to review those, you can check out videos 1.3 and 1.4 or the classwork that we did in 1.6. So for 1C, graphical analysis, remember that y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, and we do rise over run by choosing 2 points, not the counting bumps method. And the vertical intercept is just where the line crosses the vertical axis. So here it looks to be like negative 2.3-ish. And then we replace y and x with actually useful variables, not just y and x. And then we have our equation. So then to make a prediction, we can just substitute in a value for y or a value for x, and then solve it like we solve any linear function to make a prediction. So that's graphical analysis, writing in the equation and making the prediction. But if you want to review that again, video 1.5 is really your one-stop shop for a complete review of graphing and predictions. And then last but not least, the unit conversions part, remember we can look at the units to try to help us out. So if we have it in the numerator and the denominator, it's going to cancel out and then just leave us with the unit that we want at the end. So here's an example, and you can also watch video 1.7 for an example. And remember that these are the 3 metric conversions that you need to memorize. There's 1,000 meters in a kilometer, 1,000 centimeters in a meter, and excuse me, 100 centimeters in a meter, and 1,000 millimeters in a meter. And so these are the three things that you really have to have memorized from this unit. And that's mostly it for Unit 1. The last thing is you might want to review the labs. And we did 4 labs this unit: the pipes lab, the circles lab, the M&Ms lab, and the practicum, which you'll probably remember from very recently. So if you want to review those, because there will be some questions that tie in information from the labs, you can look at videos 1.1, 1.3, and 1.6. So last but not least, here's the test checklist. So this is a checklist where you can, it's a bunch of I can statements. I can, I can, I can. So if you read that statement and you agree with it, you say, yes, I can do that. You can put a check next to it. If you read the statement and you're feeling shaky about it, so circle it, star it, highlight it. And then when we come to class, in our next class, you can ask questions. You can ask for example problems. You can ask for clarifying questions. But looking through this document, which is available on Canvas, should help you direct your studying so you can know exactly what you need to be studying and where you need to be focusing your attention. So that is sort of the review video. And if you have any questions, make sure you write them down and get them answered in our next class, which we will be doing exclusively review. You can ask it live in person, or you can post it on the review discussion board, and then hopefully you will get an answer by the end of the week so that we can be super ready going into next week for our Unit 1 test. But for right now, this is Mr. Boltri wrapping up video 1.8, and go Bears.